Somebody call the doctor. Call the doctor. Because the nurse cannot get the job done. If you've ever had an extended stay at a hospital, you know that nurses don't give out equal treatment, don't give out equal attention, and aren't focusing on every patient the same way they are. And that's the problem that Nick Nurse is having. The last name is causing him to coach like a dog on shame. Guys, what's up, my crazy Sixer fanatic guys? Thanks for stopping back in for another daily pod with your daily 76ers discourse, discussion, and information. Guys, we're going to have to talk about what the heck is going on in the nurse and who the heck is cooking in this kitchen for this team with these lineups, with these minutes, and with the opportunity that some of these players are absolutely missing. Question of the day, does this team have a Nick Nurse problem? My answer, guys, is it's starting to turn into a problem because every coach has their guys. Every coach has the players that they rely on, that they see to make this team great, regardless of how good or how bad they play. And on this team, Nick Nurse has got his eye, his heart, and his mind on the grind. Nick Nurse loves Quentin Grimes, which realistically, guys, if you're a fan of this team, not for just this year, but for the future of the franchise, you know that playing a player on a one-year contract when he refused to sign a long-term deal only means you're boosting up that player's individual market next off season. And if this team needed to play Quentin Grimes, required Quentin Grimes' talent, this would not even be a conversation. Nick Nurse is doing everything that he needs to do, that he has to do, that he should do to keep this team in winning contention. But Nick Nurse, who has Jared McCain, who has yet to play Jared McCain 20 minutes this season, is still playing Quentin Grimes starting minutes. We asked Nick Nurse what is going on with Grimes' minutes because he did start the third quarter after starting the first quarter and the first half on the bench. Nick Nurse went on to say, it's hard to get a guy off the bench starter minutes. It's just really is. But we still kind of like his pop off the bench to start a game. But that doesn't etch it in stone either. Meaning that Quentin Grimes at some point this season could be a starter. At some point this season could be sixth man of the year. I'm hoping at some point this season, guys, he finds the twine, sits on the bench for an entire game so we can see what other players potentially could bring to this squad. Offensively, potentially see how bad Jared McCain is defensively, because I love what Quentin Grimes is doing on the offensive end, scoring the ball. But if Quentin Grimes isn't scoring, he gosh dang on sure is turning that thing over. Maybe Nick Nurse had a conversation with him. Maybe the coaching staff ran over some film, ran over some tape, and said, Grimes, you're probably not a point guard. You're probably more of a shooting small forward guard or a small forward shooting guard. But look at these numbers, guys. Every game of the season is right here on this graphic, and every game of the season but two has Quentin Grimes had more than one turnover. Every game this season but two, guys, but the last two, mind you, he has been a turnover merchant. The problem with these turnovers, guys, they're happening in crucial moments. They're happening in high impact moments. They're happening in closing moments, fourth quarter moments, swing moments. Quentin Grimes has turned the ball over in some of the most important instances this season. Times where this team could potentially swing momentum, take the lead, swing momentum, start a run. You give the ball to Quentin Grimes, and next thing you know, it seems like he's playing for the other guys. But that's Nick Nurse's guy. Nick Nurse is going to ride and die by Grimes, which to me does not set this team up for the future. Again, you have Jared McCain sitting on the bench. Regardless of what Jared McCain has been doing in practice, what he's been doing so far this season, even his G League play wasn't starting guard caliber play, but he's got to get his reps under him. He's got to get his legs used to the speed and the pace of an NBA game. And if you're a coach and you saw what he did last year and you know what he's capable of, you're not going to give him time at all. Guys, this team is realistically 8-6. They're not real winners. They're not real losers. But the only way this team's really going to get better is if you spread the wealth and you keep this team's health. And this is why we're having a nurse problem. Call the freaking doctor. Because no doctor is going to play Tyrese Maxey 40 minutes a game. DJ Edgecombe, 40 minutes a game. And Kelly Oubre, you saw what 40 minutes a game did to him. He's out for the next 2 weeks with a knee hyperextension. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Hands put together. Pray a little bit. that doesn't happen to Tyrese Maxey. Because the moment Tyrese Maxey goes down, this team is going to drop drastically in the standings. And the moment Tyrese Maxey goes down, I've got a firm belief that Nick Nurse is going to be a huge Jared McCain believer, a huge Jared McCain player. But that may be too late. You can't destroy a guy's confidence, take his minutes away, basically show that you don't believe in him. And when the time is right, and when the time is ready, Nick Nurse is going to say, Jared, we need you. Stay ready. Jared, you're going to get your time this season. Stay ready. It's not how it works. Not how real humans work in the NBA. They need to be trusted. They need to be given the opportunity early on, and they need to understand their identity on this team. Jared McCain's not sure if he's a point guard, if he's a shooting guard, if he's a scoring guard, or if he's just a guard. You're really not sure what Jared McCain's role is, and in each step he steps on the court, you can see him getting a little more comfortable. You can see players trusting him a little more, but he's got to get his feet under him. He's got to get his reps under him, and most importantly, guys, he's got to get the minutes this season. I think there's got to be a Nick Nurse problem, because not only is Nick Nurse playing Jared McCain, Nick Nurse says stuff like this. On Andre Drummond's three-point shooting, Nick Nurse is a huge fan, which to me is a huge problem. I have no issue with a last resort Andre Drummond three-point attempt, but I do have some huge concerns with Nick Nurse, the players and the coaching staff hyping up Andre Drummond to be a lethal three-point shooter. Because realistically, guys, a lethal three-point shooting, that's just not him. Considerable three-point shooting, maybe that can be in his repertoire, but I do not want to see Andre Drummond taking, shooting, and potentially even making open three-point shots. There are better shots out there in the playoffs, but according to Nick Nurse, he loves them. Nick Nurse went on to say, hopefully we'll get over this huge gasp in the crowd every time he steps to the line one up. Even on the road, for whatever reason, there were gasps that he was going to take a three. And I'm sorry, Nick Nurse, I'm on my couch watching these games. I'm in the arena sometimes watching these games, and I'm covering my eyes every time Andre Drummond shoots. Not that I don't want to see it, but I just don't believe in it as a steady, ready, consistent shot that we should be taking. Not at all, guys. I also don't think that a rookie in Quentin Grimes should be playing over 40 minutes. But Nick Nurse not only believes in VJ Edgecombe, but he's got more faith in VJ Edgecombe than he does many players on this roster, which again is a little concerning. And also, you got to question, what is Nick Nurse's long game vision for this squad? Because he is under the fire. He is under the microscope. And he may not be the coach of this team come next year. So is that why Nick Nurse is running these players into the ground? You got to ask him that, guys, because this is what he said about VJ Edgecombe. One of these games against the Los Angeles Clippers, Nick Nurse tore into VJ at halftime. Nick Nurse said, I had a real up and down emotional night with him. But he made some plays that I'm not sure anybody else we got can make. That's huge for him to hang in there, take a little stern coaching, and make some plays at the end. I agree. Listen, VJ Edgecombe not only showing improvement, but resilience, dedication, and fierce ferocity to continue playing at the force you need him to play for 40 straight minutes. If you're going to play him 40 straight minutes, VJ Edgecombe definitely did improve as the second half started. VJ Edgecombe definitely did show a certain fire and ferocity that you didn't see in the first half. But realistically, guys, VJ Edgecombe is still a rookie. I don't understand why you're putting so much on the plate, so much on the belt, so much weight on this rookie so far into the season when you know daggone well that come playoff time, yeah, you're going to need him. Yeah, you're going to want him to play well. Yeah, you're going to want him to understand his sets and understand where you need him offensively and defensively. But you've got more talent out there. You should not be putting the pressure and the microscope under VJ Edgecombe this early in the season when you know you got Paul George, when you know you got Kelly Oubre, when you have so much faith and trust in Justin Edwards. Why don't you show him some? Why don't you give him some? And Jared McCain still hasn't given the opportunity that you want and should be giving your first round pick from last season. I think there's got to be a Nurse problem, guys. There's no reason Kelly Oubre, Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, and Quentin Grimes should be relied on so heavily the way they've been relied on so heavily. Guys, this team is 8-6. 8-6. So far, not so good. If this team was better, playing better, they would not have been in 5 closely contested games where they had to come back from a 10-point deficit and win. If this team had all their stuff together, if this team was playing on on all cylinders firing off completely, this team would not be 8-6. So does this team have a nurse problem? Clearly, because the vision isn't clear at all. And if you're asking me, who should be this team's backup point guard? Well, it can't be Quentin Grimes. We can show you that turnover graphic one more time. It is a travesty. Quentin Grimes should not be the backup point guard for this team. Truthfully, guys, if you're going to give VJ Edgecombe backup point guard minutes, guys, you better be taking some of those minutes back because he should not be playing 40 minutes, 35 minutes, 30 minutes as the backup point guard or backup facilitator. He's just not ready. He just doesn't understand NBA defensive yet or NBA offensive sets. The backup point guard, guys, you got to give it to Jared McCain because not only is he going to be the backup point guard for this year, you've already got him under contract for next year. So Jared McCain is going to be the backup, the starting, the future point guard for this team for as long as they need him. Unless the plan is to trade him, because if the plan is to trade him, not only is Nick Nurse depleting and deteriorating his trade market, his trade stock, but he's also having players on this team lose faith in Jared because of the minutes he's given, because of the opportunity he's given, and because of some of the lineups he's thrown into. It just doesn't make sense. Who should be this team's backup point guard? It can't be Grimes based off the turnovers. It can't be VJ based off of the experience. I think the best backup point guard this team could have, should have, would be Jared McCain. We've tried to Trendon Watford backup point guard minutes. There was a one instance of success. One instance where you thought Trenton Watford was going to be the best ball handler for the squad, not named Tyrese Maxey. But ever since then, guys, it's been quite questionable. He's been a turnover machine as well. He's been making some questionable passes, and realistically, he doesn't have the first step quickness to get past any defender at the top of the key. You got to give Jared McCain those minutes, guys. You got to give Jared McCain those minutes, or you got to trade for someone. Realistically, guys, the backup point guard position is why this team cannot be great, guys. Because let me tell you something. Nick Nurse has this team playing absolute trash coming out of half. Look at this. They have not won a third quarter in the first 11 games they play. And in the first 11 games they played this season, guys, they are 30 in net rating, 30th in offensive and defensive rating, 30th in points per game in the third quarter, 30th in points per game allowed in the third quarter, meaning they're allowing their opponents to score more and do better, 30th in plus minus, meaning they're having more minuses in the third quarter than any other team, 30th in transition, 30th in fast break points, 30th in fast break points allowed, 30th in field goal attempts. They're doing more turnovers than attempting, and they should in the third quarter. And I gotta say, it has to do with that backup point guard position. 30th in true shooting, 30th in three-point percentage, and 30th in assist to turnover ratio. Because what is this team doing? They're turning over that ball at an all-time rate in the third quarter. That's coaching. That's not playing. That's coaching. Because in the first half, this team plays great. In the fourth quarter, this team plays great. But in the third quarter, this team doesn't have consistent lineups. This team doesn't have a good enough rotation. And this team doesn't have a good enough understanding of who should be doing what and when they should be doing it, guys. I go back to the first slide. Does this team have a Nick Nurse problem? You bet your bottom dollar they do. You bet your bottom dollar. Nick Nurse is the reason this team is where they are. Because Maxey shouldn't be playing this many minutes. VJ shouldn't be playing this many minutes. And other players should feel more empowered to be playing their game. But they're not. They're just filling in the sets, filling in the system. When this team's offense gets stagnant, hey, pass the ball to Tyrese. Pass the ball to Tyrese and watch him work, guys. Is there a PG this team could trade for? That is the question of the day, and I would answer that question for you, but I've got a point guard in mind. I'm going to wait until the Sixers play the Milwaukee Bucks to see if this question needs to be answered. They're on the back-to-back, guys, with Paul George potentially playing, with Joel Embiid potentially playing. And if those two guys do play, obviously those are less minutes for Jabari Walker, less minutes for Trendon Watford, less minutes for some of these guys in rotation that realistically maybe just shouldn't be in the rotation if you're trying to be a playoff caliber team. But is there a point guard the team could trade for, should trade for? Like, comment, and subscribe, guys. The commenters, the likers, the watchers, you guys are all that matters, guys. Thank you for helping this channel grow. The conversation continue to flow. And we're going to be talking about who the heck is the point guard that this team should be trading for coming up on your next daily pod tomorrow, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for stopping in. We've got a nurse problem. Call the freaking doctor.